It's another book haul. What's up? What's going on? Hide and read. Got a couple books to show off. And something a little bit different too. Not different for BookTube, but different for this channel here. Yeah, let's jump right in. We'll start with the books that I bought at the normal used bookstore, the typical one that I always shop at. She's been so nice to me lately. If you watch the channel, there's like kind of a funny thing that happened maybe like 2 or 3 months ago with me potentially owning a bookstore. It fell through or whatever, but the lady, she's like really nice to me, and she just basically just sends me out the door for free with whatever I pick. I beg her, please take my money, but hey. Mary Austin, The Land of Little Rain. It's a little thin one for our growing nonfiction Western library, which I'm really enjoying. And reading the Western nonfiction is also helping me to understand like the local history where I am now in New Jersey. And I'm starting to be able to see like what was going on. It's kind of hard to explain, but like the local history is very exciting to me all of a sudden, and it could only be due to reading other local histories. And I'm telling you, like, my general area is coming alive in kind of like a strange way with pirates and like self-sufficient farming and Nikola Tesla and Edison battling each other. Like, it's getting pretty cool. Maybe we could talk about it one day. I just don't know enough to really speak at any length, but hopefully I can become more educated because it really is quite interesting. But this is not that at all. This is in the Southwest, land of little rain. I'm in a land of a lot of rain. Well, it looks like a lot of rain. It's not raining for some reason. Mary Austin. Am I rambling? 1903. Just like little tales of the Southwest. Should be fun. Nonfiction. And similar to that, we got Western Star, Stephen Vincent Benet, and it's just about Americans and the traveling west, going out west. Here's a picture of the gentleman. He also wrote another epic poem. This is an epic poem, John Brown's Body, which is about the beginning of the Civil War. I think it's just about the Civil War in general, but the namesake of the book, John Brown's Body, is about we have to be kind of sensitive with this. There was a revolutionary gentleman who decided to take a armory which is full of weapons and try to liberate all the slaves. The armory was in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, and this armory had gone back and forth between like different people over history, and yeah, he was like one of the first people to take this armory over. There was a train station there, and a lot of trade was going on. It was on the Shenandoah River, so there, it was a bustling place. But they tried to take it over with a bunch of like basically sharpened sticks. They're metal. They call them pikes, but he ordered a bunch of pikes, and he was going to take over the armory, which they did, and then he was going to arm all the slaves with these pikes and rifles and any abolitionists that showed up, and they were going to just free everybody and right off into the sunset. He had done something similar. You have to excuse me. Like I said, my history, like I know all the cool parts. My history's not that firm yet, but out west, he had already killed, let's just put it plainly, he murdered a bunch of people before coming out to Harper's Ferry. So he is like a revolutionary abolitionist. That's John Brown. The townsfolk of Harper's Ferry didn't take too kindly to this, and everybody just surrounded them and blew them away. And that's where I'm from. That's where I was born. My native area, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. So I've had the pleasure of living in some very interesting historic places. So, and hopefully wherever's next, is much of the same. Rambling. Is rambling cool? I think so. That's why we have the channel. All right. Clive Barker, Weave World. And I don't know much about this, but I'll tell you what I understand, or I think I know about it. And Clive Barker is the author of Hellbound Heart. If you're maybe familiar with the character Pinhead, he's like that scary guy with a bunch of nails in his head. That's a pretty cool short book. But anyway, Weave World, there's a bunch of entities, and I don't know if they're good or bad or whatever, but they're being hunted down by another group. I don't know if it's a group of entities or humans, but there's a group hunting them down and trying to exterminate them. And so what they do is they weave this tapestry and then insert themselves and their world and I guess like all their culture and stuff inside of this tapestry, like literally. And so that they live in this tapestry, and it's being taken care of by this old woman. And I guess that, there's probably exciting stuff that happens, but I just, outside of the premise, I don't know too much. Ooh, it's a thick one. But it's got nice big print, so don't trip. All right. Let me get some coffee. Is it annoying to drink coffee on the videos? I think all the cool YouTubers, do they edit it out? No, they don't. They do it on purpose. They edit everything out except for them drinking coffee, so I think it's okay for me to drink coffee. Speaking of cool YouTube videos, I think 100 subscribers was a big milestone, but the second 100 is supposed to come quicker, like exponentially. That's what I'm expecting anyway. So I think 250 will be the next goal, and by 250 I want to have one of these nice intros for the channel. Not too long, but something like that. All right, let's go right into something different for the channel. Man, Kevin Toll gets a lot of reading done, and he uses a lot of audiobooks. Now, I have a maybe terrible opinion, not terrible towards audiobooks, but maybe my opinion will be very offensive and awful. But I still want to express it, and it's never stopped me from expressing my terrible opinions before. So, but I always make sure that my opinion is at least, warranted. I've listened to audiobooks before, but I haven't reviewed any on the channel. So I've been considering it for a while, especially seeing how Kevin implements them and gets a lot of reading done. We'll call it reading for now. But I saw these. They were giving them out at one of the local libraries. And I was like, you know what? I should get it, right? If they have something that I would enjoy listening to, especially, because personally I just think listening is different than reading. So if it was something that I would like to listen to, I'll grab it. Elmore Leonard, I didn't even know this book existed. Djibouti, it'll be fun saying. I'll review these too. But this is a playaway. They had these at the library that I went to, and they didn't have any books for sale, but they had these playaways, and they're giving them I said, what is a playaway? I'm out of it. Like, I'm just clueless guy here. This is a playaway. And I was just like, what the heck? What's going on here? Okay, you have to put your headphones in. Or I guess you could do audio jack to speaker if you want to listen out loud. But it doesn't have like an internal speaker. And there's a little... If you get one of these and it doesn't work, just pop it open. There's a battery in here. And because I guess they're coming out of public libraries, just clean the contacts. Just with your finger, maybe a little spit. That's what I did. And it started working all of a sudden. So, plus minus, plus minus. I would show it, I would like play it for you, but like I said, you need headphones. I didn't even think to bring a speaker. So you'll just have to believe me that it works. And yeah, I'm gonna review these on the channel. I grabbed 2 of them. What was that? Elmore Leonard, Djibouti. And I really like Elmore Leonard. Is like, to me, he's like one of the coolest authors. Like the way he writes is literally cool to me. So I was like, definitely want to listen. That would be great to listen to. All right. And then this next one, I'm into the short stories now, but to be honest, it's hard for me to get excited about short stories because you're excited about the short story and you finish it. It's over, like, and then you have to start a new one and you're kind of starting blind, so there's like no real expectation of like a reward or anything, as opposed to like reading, I'm reading The Blade itself, which is really cool, and I'm just excited to open it and see what happens next and next and next. And like I said, you don't really get that in a short story, so it's kind of hard to get motivated sometimes. So Lawrence Block, and I don't think I ever read Lawrence Block, but he's the editor for this Playaway. And it's 17 different stories inspired by the paintings of Edward Hopper. And we just did a video about my Edgar Rice Burroughs collection, which mostly just became a Frank Frazetta. You can see the painting, the print in the back here. It just kind of became like a Frank Frazetta fanboy video. But I don't know who Edward Hopper is, but we're going to look at his paintings, and I'm going to listen to these short stories by lots of different people: Stephen King, Joyce Carol Oates, Michael Connelly, Megan Abbott, Craig Ferguson, Nicholas Christopher, Jill D. Block, Lansale, Justin Scott. There's a lot of authors on here. Lee Child, Lawrence Block has a story in here. So it'll be interesting, and at the same time, it's going to expand my horizons quite a bit. One, I'm going to learn about that artist, and then 2, I'm so behind on just like popular genre fiction that I think that'll be a big plus for me. All right. We're just talking about everything in this video. It's like catch-all. It's a catch-all video. But I wanted to put out like a little bit of a tip, because I went out and I visited some these free libraries, little free libraries. So where I live, the cities or the townships are they're segregated by like economic and social status. And it works like this: you drive one direction and it gets nicer and less dense, nicer, less dense, nicer, less dense. You drive the other direction. Cats are annoying to me. You drive the other direction and there's more population, and the people are just poorer and poorer. I live right in a nice kind of median area. This is kind of just like the New York City metropolitan area. That's just how it works out here. So I decided I'm going to drive out a little bit today, just like, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and see if the little free libraries have better selections. And I wasn't wrong. I'm kind of discerning when I take stuff from these, just because, I mean, they're nice, they're really cool to have and everything, but I just feel like if I can find the book, I'll go get it. Like, and I want it, I'll pick it up. I would have already gotten it. So a lot of times when I get stuff from these little free libraries, it's things that I don't really see too often, or or maybe I didn't even know that I wanted it. So here's one. I had this book when I was much younger. I think we all probably had this, but it had a lot more graphic cover. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Alvin Schwartz. The one I had this like terrifying bloody clown on it, or I remember that. That's how I remember it. And it didn't, like, I prefer these illustrations in here. Excuse me. But they're certainly not as terrifying. Like they're gloomy and kind of morbid, but they're not terrifying like the other ones. I was actually scared of them, even as an adult. But I like these. These are a lot creepier to me. So, scary stories to tell in the dark. You might see this one in an upcoming video when I show off a bunch of scary books to get you ready for Halloween. All right, I'll save that one for last. I've always wanted to read these books, these Heroes of Olympus, but I always see them out of order, or they don't have, or they'll be like in bad condition or whatever. But this is brand new. Looks like somebody bought it. I got it as a gift and just never read it or anything. So, Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, Rick Riordan. I don't know if this guy's a good author or not, but I've wanted to try these out. Yeah. Let's see. That's a lot of the kind of stuff that I like, to be honest. Okay. And this last one, I thought this was pretty cool. I picked it up. I was very skeptical, and then I started reading the insert, the cover insert, and it's a Russian fairy tale, but retold in Brooklyn. And the author was a public school teacher, and she taught creative writing in New York City. So she probably has a good idea of the subject matter. You know, Sarah Porter. But it's the retelling of a Russian folk tale, and I only read enough to understand that it's Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga is basically running a corner store, and everybody in the neighborhood thinks that if you steal from her store, she'll cut your head off. So I just have to read this. Yeah. Really just fascinated by all things Baba Yaga. If you don't know about Baba Yaga, she's an old lady, kind of like Hansel and Gretel kind of deal. But she's not necessarily good or bad. She's a witch and she lives in the woods. Sometimes she's really bad. But she lives in a house that has chicken legs. It's like on chicken legs, and the house moves around. And you go into her house, and while you're in it, the house can turn. So when you leave, you go out into the woods, you get completely lost. That's just like one of the little tales about Baba Yaga. So, yeah, she's like the Russian witch. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, anything Baba Yaga is always cool. So that's what I got for you guys today. Boy, am I feeling talkative. So maybe I'll shoot another video. All right. Find somewhere to hide. Find something to read. Peace.